Mr. Inozemtsev, thank you for taking the time to answer a few questions on Russia's invasion of Ukraine that is still ongoing for the fourth day. Since you're an economist, I want to start with a question that is on all of our minds at the moment. Are the sanctions imposed by the West, or the so-called West, effective? Can they hinder the Kremlin's war efforts?
I think the most important word here is effective, because first of all, I would say is that the sanctions which were announced, I would not say imposed, yesterday and on Thursday, are much more critical and much stronger than everything which was announced before, starting from 2014. And in this case, in this aspect, I would say definitely that they will be effective for destroying the fundamental elements of the Russian economy. The most crucial sanction is, of course, the freezing of the assets of the central bank. If it happens, it will definitely change the rules of the game. Also, the American sanctions against big Russian banks will be definitely felt in Russia in coming days, because when the United States actually cuts them off of the dollar transactions, it will affect the situation much more than the SWIFT operations, because the SWIFT is actually only the means of making transfers, and the cutting of dollar deals is much more important, and the closure of corresponding accounts, and even the arrest of assets in both UK and US. So I would say that yes, this part of financial sanctions will be very much felt in Russia starting from Monday. Another part of the sanctions which will be very painful is the air traffic, which actually is already half disrupted, and I think it will be even stopped in the direction of Europe and the United States and North America in general this week. So and the sanctions which require the Russian air companies to return actually the aircraft which are released from the European lessors. It's all this is very important, but if one speaks about effectiveness, it's about can these sanctions affect the political course of President Putin? And I will definitely say no, because Putin doesn't care about Russian economy for years. It's absolutely secondary issue for him. He is crazy, really crazy with geopolitics, with security, war issues, and whatsoever. So I would say that even the Russian economy will be in a free fall. It will take at least several months for him to reconsider what is going on. So therefore, the answer is yes, they will hurt and they will partly destroy the economy. And no, they will not change Mr. Putin's attitude to the war in Ukraine.
I see. There are already reports of Russians being unable to withdraw money from ATMs in Moscow. I read an article about it yesterday. How?
Yes, and actually the problem with the central bank assets is that if this is true, and if the central bank will be unable to intervene on the currency exchange market, it will be a huge problem, because actually on Thursday, when the war was announced, only the central bank efforts were actually only they stabilized the market, and of course the ruble fell, but not so dramatically as it might fall. And if this lever is actually withdrawn, no one knows what will be the exchange rate of Monday. And the next point is that the central bank amassed a lot of a lot of cash, in dollars and euros, and the people from the central bank assured the banking community that everything will be okay. But the problem is that the currency reserves in cash are around $31 billion. No one knows other in dollars or euros. But just today, the most recent data about the currency deposit in Russian banks are around 6.5 trillion rubles in dollar terms. So this equals, by the Friday exchange rate, it equals around $80 billion. So so if the Russian citizens would like to withdraw their money from the banks immediately, even all the reserves, all the cash reserves of the central bank will not allow them to do so.
I understand. And you said that Putin does not care about economics whatsoever. Do you think that there could be a way to still put pressure on him that would make him reconsider his politics sooner than later?
Look, I think that there are several options here. The business community is absolutely unable to do so. And of course, they are very angry about what is going on, but they have no influence at all. They can either stay silently or quit, but they have no influence at all. The second point is that it might have some results if the very close circle of Mr. Putin, like the Security Council people, will approach him and try to change his mind. I don't know how successful this might be, but this is, I think, the only possible and the best possible solution. Or the third, which is, I think, the most probable one, is the crushing military defeat in Ukraine, which is actually looming large from day to day, because the Russian army, its morale is going down. The Ukrainians are hitting hard. The defense is actually quite strong, and the Western supplies to Ukraine are flooding in. So therefore, I think that actually Mr. Putin can change his strategy only when this military defeat will become obvious. But even in this case, there are a lot of rumors that he can even opt for, for using the tactical nuclear weapons in this conflict, because he is absolutely crazy, and he has no more obligations at all.
I see. And to what extent can China bolster Russia in dealing with the economic impact of the sanctions, short and long?
Well, I think it's very limited. It has a very limited ability to do this. As China is concerned, my point is that it will rather, be on the sides of this conflict. It will wait and see. Of course, it will provide some, not so financial assistance, but the Russian reserves were allocated to Chinese currency for around 16% of the overall reserves of the central bank. It makes around $100 billion. It's a huge amount of money. So the Chinese can definitely provide all the necessary import supplies for Russia if Russia uses this money. The Chinese can trade with Russia in rubles and yuan, avoiding dollar transactions, and this is actually a very strong help for the Russians if the imports are concerned. But nothing except of this I actually cannot expect. No loans, no investments, no economic assistance, no, nothing at all.
And I have one final question. The EU is not only important as a trade partner to Russia, but Russia is also important to the EU. So how much further can the EU go sanction-wise without seriously hurting the economy of its member states?
Look, I say that for EU, no, I would say that there's no choice there because the situation aggravated so much in recent days that it's not about only the EU as an entity. Because when I'm speaking to Russian entrepreneurs, they are telling me that every day, starting from Thursday, they are getting calls and emails saying that we cannot and or we would not send you the goods you ordered. The deals are closed. We can return your money, no problem. But we should wait and see. We don't want to make business with you at all. So therefore, it's the EU and the governments, they now have only huge grip on energy issues. And I would say that the energy exports to the EU presumably will be intact for some time at least, because there is no kind of substitution of Russian oil and gas for Europe. But anyway, the Europeans will seek the alternatives much more intensive than they did it before. And all other spheres will be hurt very strongly because, for example, Volkswagen said that it will terminate all supplies to Russia. Many other manufacturers will do the same. The European investors will close or their facilities in Russia, or just make some interruption in their work. And so this is not about the government decisions, because if the financial sphere is hit so hard, everyone can, say that we should reconsider the conditions of the business, and because of this, it might be brought even to the halt in some very, very close perspective. And also, I mentioned air traffic, all the transit issues will be definitely stopped. So the situation is very, very bad for EU-Russia business. But my major point here is that what you should learn these days, or the whole world should learn these days, you should learn to live in a world without Russia. So because any kind of economic cooperation would be very toxic. I'm not sure that the Putin's regime will falter. So therefore, this is for quite a long time, maybe, that Russia will be completely excluded from the global economic system, except of connections with China. And therefore, it's better to prepare to the situation as if Russia doesn't exist economically.
I understand. Thank you, Mr. Inozemstev.
Okay, thank you.